Michael, what up, sir? How we doing?
Hey, good. Thanks for having me on.
Yeah, thanks for jumping on. So you're the founder of District, which is a token launchpad really focused on serving kind of long-term focused builders instead of what traditional launchpads have been focusing on. So I'm curious what the core insight was that actually led you to starting District.
There's two parts to it. Like, I think there's a lot of theories going around ICMs, DAOs, AI agents. And one of the things I realized is I worked a lot with founders. I was a Y Combinator back founder, went for Alliance, but they fundamentally need two things. One, slightly different product, right? Something that lets you last for longer. And the second part of it was the right people backing them. And we combined both of them together when we built District. And so technology wise, we have builder fees. I mean, that's become more common in the meta today, which people call creator fees. Treasury. So behind every token, the token itself has its own treasury, which enables ICMs, on-chain strategies. And then we actually have been behind the scenes building a group of 330 builders, including Gary Tan from Y Combinator, Nikhil from Alchemy, to basically, okay, look, when we find something successful, as tokens graduate, let's share it to a group of builders.
That's great. So can you maybe walk us through what it looks like for builders who want to launch a token on District?
Yeah, there's a couple different things. So I think bonding curves were an amazing innovation, but it sort of favors sniper bots today. I mean, in the beginning, it was great. It was great. Like, so ours are completely flat launch. So when you launch, if you're a builder, you want to launch, great. You launch it, it's a flat launch. And a couple different things happen. So whenever, again, I'm going to pick on pump.fun, but effectively all the launch pads work similar. Effectively, when we buy tokens in the beginning, it goes in the bonding curve. Ours don't. It actually goes and gets split into the bonding curve, like the liquidity pool, and then it also gets split into a treasury that is to use to fund activities. It can be anything but like, hey, I want to buy a billboard, I want to like, put something on the sphere, or hey, I want to start a project, I want to start a company, nonprofit. I want to. It's whatever you want. Like I think of it as a mix of Kickstarter meets DAOs meets whatever project you want to do. Um, and then what happens is, and this will come like right now, we just launched today. So you guys, the first people we're talking to,
Let's go.
which is as it launches, we learn who's contributing, both with on-chain data and the contribution data. It's a new mix of this kind of AI model we've been using. And so you can basically turn on this AI whitelist that says, hey, let's favor the contributors, right? Like I would rather have, I'll pick on a district like Nikhil from Alchemy, be the first buyer of the token than somebody who's going to pump and dump it because they had a sniper bot that they built better than anybody else. So this combination of flat raise meets where the effective capital is going towards, both treasury and liquidity pool, meets AI whitelist is the start of the innovation. Then behind the scenes, if you look at our smart contracts, they're probably 3 times bigger than anybody else in the space, which is it takes that treasury. And so you're constantly, the token itself is a holder of itself, and it allows people to basically govern it. And you can set it out to different things. We use a concept of italic calls pods, and so we call it teams within our system that effectively decentralizes the work.
Got it. So I guess why? Yeah. So I think one of the big challenges that I guess DAOs have fallen into in the past is, as a startup founder, you kind of just need to be heads down, working on your unique vision, and not worry about governance or bringing this community of aligned or maybe misaligned people along with you. So I'm curious why you decided that kind of this DAO piece was an important thing to include.
So you see this a lot of time with the projects, which effectively it's a great idea, and the creator sort of steps away. That community governance is there to basically be a stopgap if you don't. Most times, and I've been part of a lot of DAOs, like our software is actually used by Oneja, is a lot of times people don't vote. And so we want the stopgate of like, hey, if things go wrong, who takes over the project to again plan for the long run? So it's almost like this kind of board that overwatches whatever the project is doing. And I really think of us as like the cutting edge of like the ICM model today. And I feel like it's been pretty strong meta in the Solana ecosystem, but we really haven't seen it on base yet. And so we're pushing the edges of that, and it requires treasury. It does require a governance when you're decentralized.
Okay, so it's more about like token holder protections than like decentralized building of a product.
Yeah, it's about like I think what we're headed towards is a rapid age where development and software engineering is getting cheaper and cheaper, and distribution is key. So if you look at one of the projects that's coming up, it's a company called Nemesis. They're building a DEX, an OMM DEX, complete with the users in mind. So on day one, if they do a good job and everybody's seen how much effort, there's going to be a ton of trust, and immediately there's going to be like 10,000, 100,000 people joining. So that distribution mechanism is going to be a key for a lot of projects going forward. And so building the open is going to be really, really strong.
How are you thinking about the right like token models or mechanisms for builders? Obviously, the launch is just one piece of it, and I think a big open question is: are buybacks and burns the right way? Do you need to like deeply integrate this into your product in some way, kind of like Zora is? So how do you think about the post-launch kind of token value accrual piece?
Yeah, it is integrated in our system where you can do buybacks. The other sort of quote unquote innovation is, again, I think we've seen a regulatory environment that's friendlier than ever, is the fact that every token has its own treasury. And so you can imagine someday if equity is tokenizable, you go public, you can actually turn over all your equity into that treasury. You can put anything in. As roll assets change in, you can put rolled assets treasury. The treasury itself is not owned by individual or company. It is owned by the token itself. And so by having this treasury component, it's an innovation space. There's not a single token project. I think DAOs.fund is the only one where when you launch a token, a treasury is created parallel to it. And so, yeah, I think it's going to be more sophisticated than buy and burns. And again, I'm not I'm not here to decide what people will do in the future. And I think like buy and burns tends to be the most direct way of doing it. But by having treasury, you can literally plan for a future where things might be regulatory even more clear.
Got it.
Yeah.
I'm super curious. What is your strategy for attracting high quality projects when they have so many launch options open to them?
So there's two things. I think launching is going to be a commodity. It already is a commodity. Like I think anybody can build a launchpad today, and there's some really cool tech. Like it's literally 3 times bigger than anything else in space, which is like it launches the treasury. It has delegation of votes, like a lot of tech. Behind the scenes, there's two other things. One is this app layer we built, which is a Web2 front end that basically lets you add like token gated Discord, community channels, video streams, a whole bunch of stuff that basically nobody else has in the space today. And we know it's good because the software is basically very similar to what Y Combinator uses to run their community, Bookface, which Alliance uses to run their community. And it just so happens Gary Tan is an investor company. He was the original builder of Bookface, the next software engineer that built Bookface. And this is, again, the sort of secret YC internal project we've mimicked in a lot of ways. And the second one is getting the right people. Like, it's not enough to just be like, okay, cool, we're a launchpad. Every time a token graduates, we have what we call the district senate. And basically what it is it's some of the top founders in Web2. They created 30 billion in company value, who are ready to go. But what happens is we programmatically learn who the biggest contributors are across all projects and invite them to join. So the community, like, I think a lot of what you look at on the other launch, like I would say the very meme token one is PvP, which is like, okay, this is launched, let's all dump this one. Ours is very more PvP. It's like, can we grow the pie? Can we build towards something? Which is like, every time you graduate, you're now on the early whitelist for the next project. You have incentive to help them because it's not about them taking token like capital away from you. It's about them going and building something, right? If you build something of value, the entire pie increases.
When you say that they're added to the whitelist, do you mean token holders of that token are added to the whitelist, or?
It's actually, it programmatically tries to figure out who the biggest contributors are. So it's basically constantly learning. And we already, and again, this is the part where like I'd have to show screenshots someday because it's so cool. Like, I don't know who refers the most guests to you guys. Let's take that as an example. I can tell you by every single person who's referred a member into the district and community right now. Like, I'll be like, okay, this person referred number 15. And it was really interesting. Like, I've been a VC for a long time. And a lot of times if I ask the VC, who's your number one source of deal flow, they'll know. But I have to ask you, who sent the 23rd most deals? They won't know.
Right.
Our system knows. Because we built, like, the entire system, the ultimate mission of districts is to build programmable organizations at scale. Like, truly imagine the future. While we'll be working for these on-chain AI-run organizations, we build the underlying software for that. So it's constantly learning who's contributed most. We know, like in the last time, we know the person who referred to most people who contributed to the last race that we have with Creator. We know who at Creator DAO is discovering the most creators, right? Those are the things that we try to do and figure out.
I mean, it's kind of an interesting way to like democratize access, or even like bootstrap your network too, right? If I can come onto District and be a good supporter of projects or steward of projects or refer to projects and get access to the new things that are going to launch. I think that's
even
Yeah.
if you are the 16th best.
Even if you're the 16th best, yeah.
Yeah.
Right.
I agree.
So what's your business model? Do you guys take fees from launches? Do you hold tokens? What does that look like?
Fees, protocol fees, almost similar to every launchpad. Yeah.
Got it. And has District used District? Like, can we come and contribute to District and get some tokens?
We'll hint at something in the future, but yeah, District will have its own native token. Right now, what we want to do is, I think, like, we thought about launching on day one with the token, but we really want to show, hey, there's a lot of legs. We really want to learn, and then District itself will launch. Right now, there's the community side, which exists on the Web 2 side. So if you guys are interested in a cool group of founders and communities, we run that with honestly a probably insane. Like if you think about the average founder community runs $100 million company plus, like the CEO of Product Hunt, the CTO of Fanta, we're all part of this community, and we do events, mastermind groups, all these awesome things. But it's been running parallel just to prove like, hey, we're long lasting without the token. Like too many people are like, without the token, literally the community dies overnight. We're like, we've run this community for a long time. And so it's starting to learn and more and more bringing on change contributors. So it's starting to learn, hey, do you contribute to existing product? If you did, boom, I'll like you. And so I think phase one, get people who are serious builders. Like the next one that's launching is basically one of the core contributors, like top 10 contributors to AI16Z. And so it's a pretty big deal. They're going to launch with us, and then Nemesis. And then there's actually 2 or 3 more. I don't know which ones I'm allowed to talk about, but I think you're
all of
starting
them.
to see it.
You can talk about
all of them.
Yeah.
Well,
I'll share with you guys as they launch because they're really cool projects.
Wonderful.
Yeah, maybe really quick last question before we let you go. I'm curious, I guess, I assume you're kind of in conversation with a bunch of kind of Web 2 or less crypto native builders. I'm curious what kind of willingness to launch tokens or intrigue to launch tokens that you're seeing from them.
Yeah, so the basic thing is there's a negative stigma to the entire space, especially among traditional Web 2 builders. And the reason that stigma exists is because most of the time, people are pumping and dumping things. And the pump feels good, but when people start dumping it, the first thing they feel is, okay, I don't want to be part of the space. Now, here's a good example of one of our tokens that was the first project to launch on District, which was Creator DAO. Like you can go long, if you're a token holder today, you can go in and watch Kong's courses on how to be a YouTuber. As long as you're a token holder, you're getting some value. Your value is not attributed to like the token price going up or down. There's some correlation between like investing in creators, all that, but there's fundamental value that exists within the token game community. It's like, hey, if you ever want to be a creator, like that's a great place to learn. So even if you hold one token, you get access to that. So there's this kind of fundamental value that makes you want to hold for longer because it's like there's communities and real resources behind it.
Got it. Awesome, Michael. Thanks for jumping on, man. Yeah, very, very excited about your vision for this and looking forward to some new launches. Going to go build my reputation a little bit.
Awesome. Thanks.
Peace,
Thank you
man.
both.